A billionaire enters a room of world leaders. Within minutes, they're all nodding in agreement. What's his secret? Psychological warfare, raw, unfiltered persuasion. These are the same tactics used in billion-dollar deals and global negotiations. Today, we'll break down the science behind three mind games: the extreme anchor, false time pressure, and the reciprocity trap. You'll see how Donald Trump uses them and how you can defend yourself, or use them to your advantage. For each trick, we'll give you a defense and a practical exercise to master it. By the end, you'll have a toolkit to change how you negotiate with anyone. Imagine the scene. A packed rally, the energy is palpable, and the crowd is roaring. Picture Trump at a podium, microphone in hand, addressing his supporters with unwavering conviction. He leans into the mic, and the words boom out. "We're building a 50-foot wall." The media erupts in a frenzy. News channels buzz with commentary, and social media explodes with opinions. Experts scoff, dismissing the idea as impractical, expensive, or even absurd. Pundits analyze the feasibility, questioning the logic behind such a massive structure. But now, whether they realize it or not, the conversation is anchored at 50 feet. That number, initially presented as a bold declaration, has now become the benchmark against which all subsequent discussions are measured. It's the starting point, the reference point, the anchor. This is anchoring bias, a cognitive shortcut that profoundly influences our decision-making. It's a subtle yet powerful phenomenon that shapes our perceptions and guides our choices, often without us even being aware of its influence. It's the principle that the first number you hear, the initial piece of information you receive, frames everything that follows. It acts as a mental anchor, subtly influencing your subsequent judgments and estimations, even if that initial number is completely arbitrary or irrelevant. After weeks of heated debate and political maneuvering, Trump compromises to 30 feet. He presents this as a concession, a willingness to meet halfway, a sign of his commitment to finding common ground. Suddenly 30 feet sounds reasonable, even if that was his goal all along. The initial anchor of 50 feet has warped perceptions, making the reduced height seem like a sensible compromise, a victory for negotiation, and a step in the right direction. You see this cognitive bias everywhere, in bustling markets, in everyday transactions, and in high-stakes negotiations. It's a fundamental aspect of human psychology that affects us all, regardless of our background or experience. Consider a typical market scene. A seller starts high, presenting an inflated price for their goods. You, the buyer, haggle down, attempting to negotiate a more favorable deal. But even after your best efforts, you still overpay. The seller's initial price, the anchor, has subtly influenced your perception of value, leading you to spend more than you otherwise would have. The first number is a mental magnet, exerting an invisible force on your judgment. It's a cognitive shortcut that our brains use to simplify complex decisions. But it can also lead us astray if we're not careful. Even random numbers, completely unrelated to the situation at hand, can anchor your judgment. The power of this bias is so pervasive that it can influence our decisions even when we know the anchor is meaningless. In one fascinating study, researchers found that people with higher social security numbers guessed higher prices for wine, purely because of the anchor. The last digits of their social security number, a completely arbitrary piece of information, subtly influenced their perception of the wine's value. So, how do you use this powerful bias to your advantage? The key is to speak first and set the initial terms of the negotiation. Set your anchor high, higher than you realistically expect to get. This will shift the entire negotiation in your favor, even if you eventually have to compromise. For example, if your goal is to earn $70K in your next job, don't start the salary negotiation at that number. Instead, ask for $85K. This higher anchor will make your target salary seem more reasonable in comparison. Similarly, if you want to pay $12K for a used car, don't offer that amount up front. Begin the negotiation at $9,500. This lower anchor will influence the seller's perception of the car's value and increase your chances of getting a better deal. Of course, the other side will likely push back, attempting to counter your anchor with their own, but the negotiation will now orbit your initial anchor, influencing the range of possible outcomes. Make your anchor ambitious but not absurd. It should be high enough to shift the negotiation in your favor, but not so outrageous that it damages your credibility. The goal is to subtly shift the window of what's possible, not to alienate the other party. And remember, anchoring isn't just about numbers. It works for deadlines, contract terms, and other conditions as well. Any initial piece of information can serve as an anchor, influencing subsequent decisions. For instance, if you need 4 weeks to complete a project, propose a deadline of 2 weeks. This will set a tight initial anchor. When you eventually relent to 4 weeks, it feels like a win for them, a generous concession on your part. They'll perceive the final deadline as more reasonable, even though it was your target all along. You're not forcing anyone to agree to your terms, you're simply framing the conversation in a way that subtly influences their perception. You're setting the stage for a more favorable outcome. But what if someone uses this powerful tactic on you? How do you defend yourself against the influence of anchoring bias? The first line of defense is to recognize the anchor for what it is, a deliberate attempt to influence your judgment. Once you've identified the anchor, consciously ignore it and do your own independent research. Counter with your own number, backed by solid facts and data. Don't let their first offer, their initial anchor, define the entire negotiation. Take control of the conversation and present your own perspective. Anchoring is a powerful psychological tool, but awareness is your shield. By understanding how it works, you can protect yourself from its influence and use it to your advantage. Next, we'll explore how the illusion of urgency can make you agree to things you shouldn't and how to avoid falling into that trap. Imagine you're in the middle of a crucial negotiation. The stakes are high and the pressure is mounting. Suddenly, the other party drops a bomb. This deal is only good for 10 minutes. Your heart races. A wave of anxiety washes over you. You feel FOMO, the fear of missing out, gnawing at your insides. The thought of losing this opportunity becomes unbearable. This is false time pressure, an artificial deadline, a manufactured sense of urgency designed to force a quick decision, often one that benefits the other party more than it benefits you. It's a classic manipulation tactic. Science shows time pressure drops your IQ by 13 points. That's like losing a significant chunk of your cognitive ability in a critical moment. You stop thinking clearly, start reacting impulsively, logic goes out the window, and emotion takes over. It's used everywhere. Trade talks where nations haggle over complex agreements, job offers where you're pressured to accept a salary before fully understanding the benefits, sale ends today. Signs screaming at you from every storefront. The goal? Make you panic, cloud your judgment so you agree before you think critically about the long-term consequences. The defense pause, take a breath. Say with a calm and steady voice, if this deal is good today, it'll be good tomorrow. Call their bluff. Or, I need to check with my team before deciding. I value their input on matters of this importance. This buys you time. Time to think, time to analyze, and power shifts to whoever is most comfortable with the pause. Whoever can resist the urge to cave under pressure. If someone's rushing you, pushing you to make a decision without adequate time for consideration, it's a red flag. Strong offers withstand scrutiny. Legitimate deals don't need to be forced. They stand on their own merit. When you feel urgency creeping in, when your pulse quickens, slow down. That's your cue someone's using this trick, attempting to manipulate you with false time pressure. Mastering this is about emotional control, about recognizing your own reactions to pressure. Don't let their timeline become yours. Set your own pace and stick to it. The more they push, the more you should slow down, demonstrating that you are not easily swayed. Recognize the tactic, reclaim your time, and make better decisions that are aligned with your best interests. But there's a subtler trick, a more insidious form of manipulation, one that feels like friendship, like a genuine connection, not pressure. Let's talk about the reciprocity trap, a subtle but powerful tool of influence. What is the most elegant mind game of all? A subtle dance of influence? A carefully orchestrated exchange that leaves everyone feeling like they've won. It's called reciprocity. At first glance, it feels like simple kindness, a natural human interaction. But beneath the surface, it's a powerful tool, a form of subtle manipulation that can sway decisions and shape outcomes. It feels like kindness, not manipulation. Imagine this: Trump compliments your tie, singles it out with genuine enthusiasm. Or perhaps he remembers your coffee order, down to the last detail, the specific blend, the amount of sugar, the splash of cream. Maybe he even offers a small gift, a seemingly insignificant token of appreciation. Suddenly, saying no to his requests, even reasonable ones, feels incredibly awkward, almost impossible. You find yourself agreeing to things you normally wouldn't. This is the rule of reciprocity in action. When someone gives, whether it's a compliment, a favor, or a tangible gift, we feel compelled, almost instinctively, to give back in equal measure, or even more. We feel obligated to return the favor, to balance the scales of social exchange. Countless studies show that even a tiny, unexpected gift, something as simple as a pen or a mint, can make people much more generous in return, significantly increasing tips, donations, and overall cooperation. Trump understands this principle implicitly and uses it masterfully. He uses this with praise, showering individuals with public accolades and positive recognition. He offers small favors, seemingly insignificant acts of assistance that create a sense of obligation. Or he presents symbolic gifts, creating a subtle but powerful social debt, so that when he asks for a concession, a compromise, or an agreement, it's far harder to refuse him. The psychological pressure to reciprocate is immense, but the beauty of reciprocity is that you can use this too. Give first, take the initiative. Offer a genuine compliment, acknowledge someone's strengths or achievements, share useful info, provide valuable insights or resources that benefit the other party, or make a small concession, demonstrate your willingness to compromise and find common ground. In salary talks, present a detailed plan to add significant value to the company, outlining specific goals and strategies. Do this before even asking for a raise. Show them what you're worth before you ask to be paid what you're worth. The key: give before you ask. Lead with generosity and demonstrate your commitment to the relationship. It reframes the entire negotiation, shifting the dynamic from a potentially contentious exchange to one that is cooperative, collaborative, and focused on mutual benefit, not adversarial. But beware when it's used on you. Recognize the signs and protect yourself from being manipulated. If someone's unusually nice, excessively generous, or overly complimentary right before a negotiation, be on your guard. Mentally separate the gift, the compliment, or the favor from the actual deal being discussed. Accept kindness gracefully, but remind yourself, it's not part of the terms of the agreement. It shouldn't influence your decision-making process. This is precisely why charities send free gifts, like personalized address labels or small calendars, along with their donation requests. And why companies give away free samples, offer product trials, and host promotional giveaways. They're banking on your innate sense of fairness, your feeling of reciprocal obligation. Next time you negotiate, whether it's a business deal, a salary discussion, or even a personal agreement, be the first to give. It primes the other side to reciprocate, creating a positive and collaborative environment from the outset. But when all three tricks combine, the power of anchoring, the pressure of urgency, and the subtle influence of reciprocity, anchor, urgency, and reciprocity, the effect is amplified exponentially. The effect is overwhelming, creating a powerful force of influence that's difficult to resist. What happens when a master negotiator, someone like Donald Trump, skillfully uses them all at once, weaving them together into a seamless strategy? Let's see the ultimate mind game in action, and analyze how these principles can be deployed for maximum impact. Imagine Trump weaving all three tricks together: an extreme anchor, a friendly gesture, and a ticking clock. The anchor skews value, the gift creates obligation, and the deadline panics you into agreement. It's a psychological blitz, hard to resist even for experts. Now imagine AI using these tactics, personalized to your every weakness. Negotiation bots could anchor, pressure, and gift at scale. The future of negotiation is automated. Are you ready? Your challenge: try the extreme anchor, resist time pressure, and give before you ask. Share your results in the comments. Download our negotiation checklist below and subscribe for more secrets. What surprised you most? Let us know, and see you next time.